What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Show back with another video. And today, man, I'm talking about Naruto Ultimate Ninja 3. Now, does anybody remember this game? Because to be honest, I really do. But this is probably the only Ultimate Ninja game I ever would remember. When I bought it, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, when I had it, I was a child, so I didn't buy it. But when I got it, this was during the time where, I had a lot of games like Tenkaichi and stuff. Now I got the games late, so, release dates really didn't matter. So, I had a lot of different anime games at the time, so playing games like Budokai and all the Tenkaichi franchises, and even going back and playing some of the old Dragon Ball Z games on Game Boy Advance. I was really an anime fan back in the day, and it showed. I had a lot of anime games. I mean, like Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament. To this day, I still trying to find a way to really get that back up and playing. But this game right here was special to me. Now, to be honest, if you do remember this game, you can pretty much remember that the main source of gameplay in this game, which is the hero contest, which is pretty much a very large filler episode from Naruto. But for some reason, I really enjoyed it, because back then there was no such thing as filler. Now looking back on it now, playing it, it looks like filler. It looks like a filler, a filler episode. That's exactly what it feels like. But to be honest, I still had a lot of fun playing it. So I guess that's just what it is. Now, Naruto Ultimate Ninja 3, and of course you can't tell by the name, is the third sequel, or second sequel, I guess it would be. The third game in the Naruto Ultimate Ninja franchise, and it does actually include an actual story mode. So they do have a story mode that deals with Naruto and Sasuke and their final battle. But to be honest, the mode in question, when I talked about earlier, the Heroes Contest, it was a way more enjoyable mode for me. The other mode is okay. It's just a very speedy way to kind of play through the Naruto story, which, to be honest, I really did enjoy. Going back and playing a lot of those Naruto games back in the day, you really get to see the story over and over and over again. It got kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Same with Dragon Ball Z. Anytime you had a different type of story, instead of just going through from this point to this point, it was kind of welcome. So you pretty much notice that in the actual story mode, it basically skips a lot of dialogue and cutscenes. So you really won't be able to kind of see any of that. It's just basically hey, this is what happened. Let's play a couple matches with this. But like I said, that wasn't really the main mode. Now, for a little background info, before I start talking about how this game is so special to me and it's my favorite Naruto game, this game had 42 characters. Had a crazy number of music, had a crazy amount of music, especially stuff that you can collect. I'll get to that later in the video. The Ultimate Contest is basically a go on missions, unlock characters type of thing. To be honest, I know I said to be honest a lot in this video. I do apologize. But to be honest, I honestly feel I'm just joking. But I feel like this mode was such an understated mode back in the day. Ultimate Path, also known as Ultimate Contest, is an RPG style part of the game, which allows you to go on missions, unlock several characters, as well as learn different techniques. Before a player can do this, however, the player has to enter a tournament in which the player is required to defeat many characters in order to get their crystals. After this is done, the player can roam freely and level up different characters that have been unlocked. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I really love that. The whole RPG element and stuff, they kind of, a lot of those games back then, they had RPG elements were fun. Look at Legacy of Goku and stuff in all those games. The thing I really liked is that you can actually equip different people's jutsus. That was interesting. Now, I played this on stream, so you'll probably see some the stream gameplay in the back here. Show Saga, Twitch TV. As you see the gameplay in the back, obviously it is the regular Ultimate Ninja style gameplay. Now, if you're confused and maybe you're a little bit younger and you don't really know about the original Ultimate Ninja series, no, Ultimate Ninja Storm was not the first Ultimate Ninja franchise. In fact, Storm 1 is definitely not the first in the Ultimate Ninja games. It took me actually a while to actually put 2 and 2 together, even though they're both called Ultimate Ninja. When I was younger, I kind of thought Storm and Ultimate Ninja were 2 different franchises, but no, they are in a sense, but they're not. They're all part of that same Ultimate Ninja umbrella. And speaking of Ultimate Ninja, they had at least 6-7 games. They had 2 games on the PSP, one I was very surprised. One I did a video on not too long ago called Heroes, and that was very surprising because they literally went all the way into the Pain arc, which, considering how old the PSP is, granted Naruto's also very old, was actually surprising to me. There was also another PSP Naruto game that went into like the 5 Hokage summon thing. That's surprising. Alright, so some of the interesting playable characters for this game. Of course, you have your main trio, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. And most of these characters, they all have different forms. Some of the forms are kind of like made up for a sense. Like Shikamaru has strategy mode, which is technically a thing, but not really, to be honest. Konohamaru, which is also a very surprising character in this, has kitty mode. 1010 in the game has ninja tool mode. Of course, Rock Lee has loopy fist mode and 8 gates mode, which is super interesting. Kurenai with haze mode. To be honest, I know Kurenai is not really represented in a lot of games. I always thought her power set was kind of interesting. I just think once she tried to put Itachi into Genjutsu, everything went downhill for her. They got Anko with her curse mark mode, Tobirama with the Hokage mode, and Hashirama with the Hokage mode. This is really before we really knew what the Hokage were capable of. You know, as like a fan of the series for a long time, you know, we would currently see, like, we would always see like different Hokages in these games, but never really got the chance to play with them. We might have played with them in a couple games. I think it was in the Storm 1. You can like play with the first Hokage's wood jutsus and then second Hokage's water jutsus, but to really be able to play these games until you can see them in the actual series do their thing is special. That's special. Of course, to round out, we got Itachi, got Tsunade, Jiraiya, Minato, Kimamaru, Sakan, Taiyu, basically all the little sound ninja fours, Zabuza, and Haku. Now, the thing that they used to do a lot was basically add Minato in the game. He was basically like the Hokages. They basically would add, I mean, he's a Hokage, but they would add all these people in here because he was just honestly too cool to even leave out of a game. Like, his fighting style, his everything about him was actually very interesting. In fact, as a little fun fact, he did not actually even have a voice in the game. Some of the things about the gameplay I really loved is like, okay, if you pick like Sakura or like Jiraiya, they would have moves that turn them into like a giant boss battle that you had to dodge, and you had to like, it's like a whole different frame. To me, that's just fire. But enough of that, man. Enough of talking about the gameplay. This game was my only game for quite a while. Like, this is the first game I played. I probably put so many hours into it, you would think it's Persona 5. I still think after playing it today, it is a fantastic game. Of course, I think I'm gonna do a whole series on it on Twitch. So at least there, I'll be able to kind of play with it a little bit more and see what I really enjoy this game. Can I really play it as like a full stream? Like I said, I'll be doing it probably every day. Not every day, probably weekly, to be honest. But with that being said, let me just ask you guys a simple question. Do you remember this game? Like, seriously, do you remember this game? What's your favorite Ultimate Ninja? Like, what's the favorite, like, in fact, let's scratch that. What's your favorite Naruto game of all time? Because mine is a little bit weird. I could say it's this one, just the nostalgia factor. I could say it's like Broken Bond because I got to play that a little bit later in life, and I feel like that was just, to me, that was the most interesting package as far as like a Naruto game has ever given me. Like, I'll be honest, that was probably like the most interesting Naruto game I've ever played. But like I said, I probably enjoy it more because I was an adult when I played it. But let me know down in the comments below, what's your favorite Naruto game? If I had to give you one off the top of the dome, it'll probably be Storm 3. That's just because of the memories and me just dominating my whole entire neighborhood with Kakashi. But with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm gonna be dropping a lot more retro content like this soon. I want to get back into doing a lot of the older games. I really want to do Dark Tournament, like Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament, but I want to make a whole video on it, like a whole video essay type thing. Not how this video was just talking about the game. But stay tuned, man. We finally hit 1,000 subs. Hopefully we'll stay that way. Hopefully we'll continue to grow. Like I said before, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next video.
Believe it! Believe it! Believe it! So believe it! Then believe it! 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 Believe it. 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 Believe it.
剣がくれるぞスタープラチナザワやれやれだぜ